Donald Trump's economic proposals for a potential second term are more extreme and dangerous than his first-term policies. His plans include widespread tariffs on imports, mass deportation of immigrants, and interference with the Federal Reserve's independence. These interventions would harm American businesses, workers, and consumers by reducing resources, increasing uncertainty, and driving up costs. While many of Trump's supporters claim his policies will benefit the United States economy, these assumptions fail to acknowledge the broader consequences. Deporting millions of workers, many of whom are critical to industries like farming and construction, would lead to labor shortages, increased prices, and lower production. High tariffs on imports would raise prices for consumers and hurt businesses reliant on global supply chains while failing to generate significant tax revenue. Moreover, Trump's proposed executive overreach to control the Federal Reserve and sequester congressional funds would erode fiscal stability and trust in United States governance, leading to higher interest rates and financial volatility. Trump's approach is based on a zero-sum view of the global economy, seeing other countries as threats to American prosperity. By fostering uncertainty, his administration would undermine long-term investment and growth, ultimately making the U.S. economy weaker. Unlike previous administrations that have aimed for macroeconomic stability, Trump's agenda would disrupt the economy, raising inflation, shrinking GDP, and imposing costs on American households. His plans, rooted in a dangerous mix of uncertainty and overreach, would be a costly experiment with potentially devastating consequences for the U.S. economy. The judge presiding over Donald Trump's 2020 election interference case released a significant batch of evidence gathered by special counsel Jack Smith on Friday. This includes nearly 1,900 pages of heavily redacted documents that Trump's legal team had tried to keep confidential. These documents, organized into 4 volumes, were part of an appendix submitted with a motion concerning presidential immunity earlier this month. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, who was overseeing the case, had ordered their release but delayed the process to allow Trump to challenge the decision. The newly released material includes transcripts from court hearings, interviews, and speeches related to the case, along with additional supporting documents. Although much of the appendix remains sealed due to sensitive information, such as grand jury testimony and FBI interviews, some of the documents include publicly available data like voting records and tweets from Trump and others involved. Notably, Trump's speech from January 6, 2021, in which he told supporters he had won the election and encouraged them to go to the Capitol, was also part of the release. Judge Chutkan reaffirmed her commitment to transparency in the proceedings, stating in an order that the public has a right to access all aspects of criminal court proceedings. Despite Trump's legal team arguing that the release could impact the 2024 presidential election, Chutkan did not find their concerns compelling and refused to consider political factors in her decisions. Trump was originally indicted last year, with prosecutors accusing him of attempting to overturn the 2020 election results. After a pause in the case while Trump's legal team argued for presidential immunity, the Supreme Court ruled that presidents are immune for official acts taken while in office. This led Smith to narrow the charges to fit within the court's framework. Trump has pleaded not guilty. Smith's team has filed a motion asking Chutkan to declare that Trump is not immune from prosecution, a motion that was unsealed earlier this month. Trump's team has until November 7th to file their response. In response to Trump's attempts to prevent further evidence releases, Chutkan stated that both sides have the opportunity to present their arguments and facts. She also denied Trump's demand for prosecutors to provide additional information, including claims of undercover agents at the Capitol on January 6th, noting that there was no substantial evidence supporting those claims. Trump warned that if Kamala Harris won the election, the United States would end up like Detroit, making a pointed comparison to the city's struggles. Meanwhile, at the event, host Jim Gaffigan took a jab at the Democrats, saying, "President Biden couldn't be here tonight. The DNC made sure of that." This came after Biden withdrew from the presidential race in July, facing mounting pressure from senior figures within his own party. Though Harris made a brief appearance via video, she refrained from poking fun at herself, leaving the humor to others present at the dinner. With the U.S. presidential election just weeks away, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are competing to win over undecided voters as November 5th approaches. Early voting has already begun in several key states like North Carolina and Georgia, where the outcome could shape the election. In the race for the presidency, it's not the popular vote that determines the winner, but rather the Electoral College, where 270 out of 538 votes are needed to secure victory. These votes are allocated based on each state's population, making swing states such as Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, and Pennsylvania crucial battlegrounds. Polling data shows Harris holding a narrow national lead over Trump, with 538's tracker giving her a 2.1 percentage point edge. Harris's polling numbers have improved since President Joe Biden withdrew from the race in July, endorsing her as his replacement. While she is favored to win 54 times out of 100 in the latest election forecast, Trump remains a strong contender, favored 46 times out of 100. In battleground states, the race remains tight. States like Georgia and Arizona, which flipped to the Democrats in 2020, are key focal points, with both candidates vying for narrow leads. Polling here is particularly significant, as these states will ultimately determine the outcome in the Electoral College. If the election results in a tie of 269 electoral votes each, the U.S. House of Representatives would decide the winner, with each state delegation casting one vote. Meanwhile, the Senate would select the vice president through a majority vote. Polling, while useful for gauging voter preferences, is not without its limitations. Historically, polls have underestimated Republican support in 2016 and 2020, with factors like non-response bias and changes in voter turnout affecting accuracy. Although the 2022 midterm polls were more precise, doubts still linger about the reliability of this year's predictions. Many polls currently show the difference between Harris and Trump within the margin of error, underscoring the unpredictability of the final result. I love complaining, I like everything to be perfect. But when I leave here, I'll have 200 people, Trump said, before trailing off. Because they buy time on Fox, host Brian Kilmeade chimed in. Trump's remarks reflect years of tension between him and Fox News. He has often criticized the network, once labeling its founder a MAGA-hating globalist rhino and accusing him of aiding and abetting the destruction of America. On Thursday, Trump also took aim at Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott for giving airtime to Democratic voices. Why does Suzanne Scott of Fox News keep putting on third-rate talking heads like Jessica Tarlov, Richard Fowler, Patrick Murphy, Something Wolf, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and other radical left lunatics who lie and make up stories, with Fox rarely offering any counter to their narratives? Trump posted on Truth Social, "If I win, and for the sake of the country, I hope I do, it will be despite Fox, not because of them. We can't let Kamala, this radical left moron, run the country." Trump's criticism followed Vice President Kamala Harris's recent interview with Fox News anchor Bret Baier, which drew nearly 8 million viewers, surpassing the 3.1 million who watched Trump's all-women town hall earlier in the day. As we prepare to head to the polls soon, be the first to get the good news by subscribing to our channel for free today. We will send you instant notification as soon as the news breaks. For now, thanks for watching.